In this video, I show how my original simple solar setup with foldable panels evolved into 400 watt of fixed rigid panels on my Toyota Sienna roof. I explain why I abandoned the idea of building an automatic solar tracker and how my less than perfect panel mounting unexpectedly turned out to be one of the smartest decisions in the build. I break down how the Renogy charge controller intelligently charges your system from both solar and the alternator while you're on the road. I also share how I protect the starter battery in my power-hungry Sienna Limited, both while camping and off-season. In my previous episode about the electrical module, I described my initial camping setup from the first summer of camping: a portable power station and 200-watt folding solar panels, which I also connected to the alternator for charging while driving. This setup adequately powered a Bouge RV fridge, electric kettle, fans, and various USB rechargeable accessories, providing about 2 to 3 days of off-grid power. However, the daily setup and takedown of the folding solar panels was inconvenient. Leaving them unattended on the roof while away was also risky. Therefore, a permanently mounted solar setup became a necessity, providing continuous charging whenever sunlight was available. Furthermore, my plan to transition to fully electric cooking required a significantly larger solar input than the existing 200-watt system to support the increased battery capacity. My research into solar panel options quickly became overwhelming due to the abundance of technical terms like monocrystalline, rigid versus flexible, bifacial, and SIGs. I discovered that options like SIG's flexible panels that can be glued directly to the roof for a seamless look, and bifacial panels that harvest energy from both sides. However, these advanced features came at a significant cost, sometimes doubling the price for the same power output. I soon determined that SIG's panels weren't suitable for my Sienna due to its uneven roof surface and large moonroof. Bifacial panels also proved impractical, as their close proximity to the roof would prevent sufficient light from reaching the back. This led me to the traditional monocrystalline panel. These panels are commonly used in off-grid applications like RVs, boats, and campers. Their corrosion-resistant aluminum frames are ideal for extended outdoor use, ensuring decades of performance. Pre-drilled mounting holes also simplify installation, and best of all, they were the most cost-effective option. The next challenge was maximizing power generation from the limited roof space. Initially, I planned to use only a portion of the roof, reserving the rest for future additions like a shower water storage pipe similar to Eric and Joyce Earth's design, or a retractable awning. To maximize solar power generation within this constraint, I considered sliding or unfolding panels and even rotating platform to direct the panels towards the sun. I even explored motorized sun tracking system for optimal efficiency. I was aiming for the stars in my dreams, or actually the single star our planet revolves around. After weeks of sketching and designing complex solar solutions, I realized I was overcomplicating the project. A system with numerous moving parts increases the likelihood of failure, especially when subjected to the vibrations of a moving vehicle. And extra complexity also significantly increases the cost. With my camping vacation approaching, at the end of May, I needed a working solar setup quickly. I decided on a simpler solution, at least for the first summer: 2 panels bolted flat to the roof crossbars. This simple setup would work for the season and allow me to test if its performance is suitable for my needs or requires redesign and additional modifications. I purchased 2 195-watt eco-worthy panels, each measuring approximately 52 by 26 inches and weighing 21 pounds each. My 5 weeks of camping that summer demonstrated that even with suboptimal sun positioning or partially cloudy weather, the solar panels generated enough power to replenish my daily battery usage for cooking. If not, my dual battery system provided sufficient power for up to 5 days without external charging to gap those cloudy days. I also retained my original folding panels, which provide an additional 200 watt of output, and carry them in my van as an additional insurance. These can be precisely positioned for optimal sun exposure and offer extra power during cloudy weather or when the van is parked in the shade. Using a long cable, I can place them in a sunny location away from any obstructions. While they serve as a backup, I didn't actually need to use them during my trips in the first summer of camping, which proved that my simple setup is sufficient in most cases. I did use them last year though a couple of times when we had a few days of cloudy weather and I needed extra juice while staying with no driving around. The challenge, as always, was finding storage for them within the minivan's limited space. I found the perfect spot behind the driver's seat, where they're readily available should I need the extra solar boost. While mounting the panels directly on the crossbars isn't as aesthetically pleasing as some setups I've seen, like Bruce Parks's design, where the panels are integrated between the roof rails, I opted for simplicity for the first camping season. I used inexpensive Amazon crossbars as the mounting base, securing the panels with stainless steel bolts that fit the crossbar slots. These 8 bolts create a robust and secure structure suitable for driving, with no moving parts or complex tilting mechanisms. This simple setup unexpectedly provided an additional benefit. The raised panels create a secondary roof layer over the moonroof, allowing its use even during rain. To prevent leaks between the panels, I applied adhesive foam tape to the edge of one panel where it overlaps the moonroof opening. Mounting the panels then compress the tape, creating a seal. Furthermore, the 2 large panels cover more than half of the minivan's roof, providing significant shade and reducing interior heat during the summer. I followed Bruce Parks' YouTube tutorial for routing solar cables from the roof of a 3rd-generation Sienna without causing any major damage. Despite searching for a shorter route, I couldn't find a better solution. Here's how the cables run from the solar panels to the electrical module in my setup. The solar panels are connected in parallel using a Y connector and protected by inline fuses. The cables then run under the rear hatch and are secured with self-adhesive cable clips. I drilled a 1-inch hole and installed a white silicone grommet to protect the cables from chafing against the opening's edge. The cables then run beneath the van's body and enter through an opening near the jack compartment. I used foam pipe insulation to protect the cables and prevent insect intrusion. Finally, the cables enter the van's interior beneath the interior wall and continue across the underside of the bed platform foundation. In addition to solar power, my main battery is also charged by the vehicle's alternator while driving. I use a Renogy DC-DC MPPT controller, which manages both power sources and charges the battery from the optimal source, prioritizing solar input. I ran a positive cable from the starter battery through the firewall, using the routing method demonstrated in Bruce Parks' helpful video. A negative cable run directly to the battery wasn't necessary. I connected it to the van's chassis to minimize cable length. A 50-amp circuit breaker mounted under the hood provides protection by cutting off the starter battery in case of a short circuit or if isolation is required. The Renogy controller offers a valuable additional feature. When the auxiliary battery is full and excess solar energy is available, it begins charging the vehicle's starter battery. This is particularly beneficial in my Sienna Limited Edition, with its many power-hungry accessories, sliding doors, windows, sun and moonroof. The first season, before installing this system, I experienced a dead starter battery after staying at a campground for a week without driving. This new feature on the Renogy controller is therefore essential for me. The unfortunate incident with the depleted starter battery prompted me to implement a safeguard for periods when the camping setup, including the Renogy charger and solar panels, is removed in the fall. I purchased a small, eco-worthy portable solar trickle charger. It sits on the dashboard and connects directly to the starter battery, providing enough charge to maintain its condition. This is particularly useful when leaving the car at airport parking for extended periods. While this trickle charger can connect to a cigarette lighter output, a direct connection to the starter battery is necessary. Since my Sienna's cigarette lighter connector is switched off when the car is off, I installed a dedicated SAE input port near driver's footrest. It is connected directly to the battery, matching the connector type used on my trickle charger cable. This port also simplifies manual charging during the winter months when sunlight is scarce. My Noco Genius charger, which normally connects with clamps under the hood, was also modified with the matching connector. This allows me to charge the battery without opening the hood through this universal charging port, which is much more convenient. Both the solar and alternator lines connect to the electrical module through XT90 connectors, which are rated for up to 90 amps. I initially considered SAE connectors, but couldn't find precise specifications, so I opted for the XT90 for a higher safety margin. Both inputs are equipped with cutoff switches capable of handling up to 200 amps, allowing for complete isolation of these power sources. An additional cutoff switch provides full isolation of the main eco-worthy battery when needed. I am happy with my current setup, and 2 camping seasons proved that it is sufficient for my needs, so no crazy moving, tilting structures will be built, even though it would be a fun project. I may do one simple improvement though, add some sort of a spoiler in front of my solar panel to improve aerodynamics and reduce air drag. This may reduce wind noise while driving and probably have some effect on fuel efficiency. Next, episode number 9, ventilation. I will cover the following topics: why proper ventilation is a must, passive ventilation, quest for perfect air intake, mosquito protection, building the perfect screen, active ventilation module with in- and outflow variable speed fans, internal fans for airflow during hot summer days and nights,